Hello, everybody. Lawrence Fleming here. I'm doing a live broadcast for a number of reasons. One, there's enough stuff going on in the Middle East to keep you updated on it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing. And we're testing some new hardware out at the same time we're doing this. So this is a good day. I don't know if you're following, but we know that Israel has been striking different targets in Syria. Iran stockpiles, proxy stockpiles, whatever it is. Everybody's trying to use Syria as a launching point for the next war over there. It may be the Ezekiel war launching point, I don't know. But Russia's in there and Iran's in there now directly, and their proxies are in there. And they're using drones. And they just used, yesterday, they used a drone to attack U.S. military there. And so we responded back. And I'm getting this from, let me see where my news article is. This is on ABC News. The U.S. military said it carried out airstrikes on Tuesday targeting areas of eastern Syria controlled by Iran-backed militias. The precision strikes in the oil-rich Deir ez-Zor province near Syria's border with Iraq, targeting infrastructure facilities used by groups affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to Colonel Joe Buccino, spokesman for the U.S. Central Command. So we're getting drawn into this. It's one thing that Israel's over there, but it's another thing that we're being drawn into this. I don't know what's going to pull us into the war. We've got potential war with Russia because we're helping Ukraine. We've got this here because we're helping Israel. China doesn't like us because we're helping Taiwan. We're a sitting duck, and we've basically told God to get out of our lives, not us as Christians, but the country. They've banned the Bible in schools. They're doing everything they can to make life miserable for Christians in this country. We're going to get punished, and it's going to be big time. It's going to be bad. Plus, on top of all that, they're trying to destroy our own country. So whatever's going on, we can't do anything but just watch at this point. God's going to protect us while we're here, and we're going to get raptured out of here before it gets really bad. The Bible does not specify what really bad is, though. So we're the restrainer. So I'm hoping that the really, really bad stuff that we would not want to be in at all is after we're gone. But we're seeing plenty of stuff going on right now. Okay, I'm doing this live broadcast from my new laptop. Thank you, guys. I also got something that I ordered a while back. When I looked at the satellite systems back then, they all were getting ready to release internet because Starlink's going to do it. If they don't have internet to come up and compete with Starlink, all these providers are going to go under because they're just going to replace what they've got with Starlink. Well, I finally got the box that I ordered. Apparently, they had to wait for FCC approval. This is a T-Mobile 5G gateway, they call it. It provides internet. All you need is the box and a power cord. And that's it. You don't need cable. You don't need anything. You can use this in an apartment. You can use this camping. I am transmitting to you live over my unit, which is inside my tent, which is what I wanted to do with all this stuff anyway. But the FCC was dragging their feet because they were paid off by the cable companies to not allow internet through satellite or any other means, because when they do, then the cable companies are out of business. Well, they've diversified enough now, I guess, and Starlink's pushing the issue. So I have internet now. What it uses is the cell signal. Now, that's what hotspots used to do. I had a hotspot before. I've got a 4G. It's on a shelf because it took me a 30 minutes to use up the minimum or the maximum minutes on it. They weren't very much, 10 gigs, something like that a day. It was just really bad. I couldn't upload more than 2 videos, and that would be it. Or was it a week or whatever? Whatever it was totally impractical. So I basically just let it lapse after I paid for a couple of months. This is a couple of years ago, and that was a 4G. They've come out with a 5G. They were trying to get people to buy it, but I'm asking them, did you change your plans? And they're saying, no, it's still limited. We have to follow the rules. I said, well, if you had something else, I'd buy it. Well, I've been on their mailing list, and then they said, sent me a deal that I could pre-order it a month or so ago, so I did. And now that I've got this, and that's what it looks like, that box. If I go bring it out here, I'd have to unplug it, but it's about that high. It's kind of like that. It's not very big, and like I said, it just needs power. And I'm in a campsite. Now I've got 5G here, cell signal, and it's pretty solid because this park is in the city or close to the city. So with that, I got people talking over here. With this now being, hello, fighting for the gospel ministry, I can now actually see side by side, because when I was doing this on my phone, it had to scroll up through it, and then if I missed it, then I had to scroll it back, and you could see me doing all that stuff with the phone. But this is on a laptop, so this is a computer screen where I can actually see the video, and I can see this over on the side. And we've got a few people watching. I don't know how long it's going to be before we get everybody, but yeah, this is the camera that's built into the laptop. I'm using its microphone as well, and so this is really just a test. And if it works, and I can use this internet everywhere, I'll go ahead and start doing weekly lives. I'm not going to do them every day because I still got to stay on my normal studies. I've got a video right now that's already up there, but it's not ready for you yet. It's still being checked out. Good. I'm glad everything sounds good. I recorded a video using this process earlier with the laptop and ran it through my editor, and it works great. I've got a watch. I have a cover that I can slide on the camera, because you know that if you're in certain types of environments, Wi-Fi environments, people can hack into your computers and use your camera. So I have a cover that I can slide closed. And when I first started doing this, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get any video until I realized I'd moved that. I do have one verse to look at. And let's see, where is that at? With them attacking in Syria, and Israel's been attacking as well. So it's the United States and Israel both attacking in Syria. Different targets. We started attacking because they shot at us, so we retaliated. Israel's attacking because they're moving more and more arms in all around Damascus. And we know that there is going to be a big war, because if you look at Ezekiel 17, verse 1, an oracle concerning Damascus. See, Damascus will no longer be a city, but it will become a heap of ruins. The city of Aor will be deserted and left to flocks, which will lie down, and no one will make them afraid. These are the things that are coming to the area. The city of Damascus is going to be totally wiped out. Now, is that going to be from a direct missile attack, or is that going to be, just like we had over in Lebanon, where the storage depot blew up and it took out the port? If they're moving, arms over there, they've got thousands of missiles, hundreds of thousands of missiles. Gaza launched, 4,000 missiles a year ago? That's the tip of the iceberg. If they launched them all at once, I don't think Israel could shoot them all down. I don't think their launching machines would launch fast enough. Now, more than likely, they've probably got precision-guided missiles pointed in that general direction, and as soon as they start launching, they will probably launch just for those and take them out. And if you put Israel in the corner, they have nukes, and I can guarantee you they will use them to protect the country. And if Iran has nukes, they're going to use them. And we know that the area of, is it Elon, that's on the western side of Iran on the coast, that's also going to be a nuclear waste. Well, there's different groups over there. The Ezekiel War, we've already got the triad, basically the big three, Russia, Iran, and Turkey. Those are the main three. Then there's going to be some countries from North Africa. We've obviously got Syria, and whether there's going to be any more in the immediate area join in. Jordan wants to stay neutral. Plane going overhead. We've had a major storm front. I think there's been more flooding. I've seen more pictures. I just haven't looked at all the news yet. It literally rained all night, and I've got everything right here. If it starts to rain again, I'm going to grab everything and just head in the tent. I felt a drop a little bit ago, but I don't see anything on my immediate radar. But the thing is, it's so humid here and there's so much moisture in the air. There could be nothing coming over and it hits a change in temperature and boom, the clouds just start developing. And next thing you know, there's a cloud burst. That happened a few days ago here. So I've got to keep an eye on it. In any case, I was listening to Emir Safata. He did a live broadcast himself from Heathrow Airport in London because he's returning from a family vacation in the UK. Yeah, it is crazy. These floods that we don't normally have. We're hearing things like, 1,000-year flood. The weather's going to go crazy. Everything is going to go crazy. Why do we keep hearing about these, bugs? I've said this before. My video is being reviewed that I put up for tomorrow, and it's got one flag on it, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to post it as it is. I might have to edit it. I don't know what I said, but I do a lot of talk, and sometimes words slip out, so I have to be careful what I say. But in any case, we are starting to see things escalate. There's going to be a major earthquake here soon. If there's one tied to the rapture, then it's going to be in Israel. If we're looking at the Revelation 12 sign, Satan casting a third of his angels down here and then coming down with them to try to kill the male child that will rule with an iron fist, that's us. Christ has already done this. He's already born. When we're looking in the book of Revelation, we're looking into the future. So we're going to come back and rule with Christ with the same authority. So we're going to rule with an iron fist too, just the same as Jesus is. So we're the child that's going to be born. Israel is obviously the woman. We've already seen the sign. If that is this year, we waited 5 years. If it's this year, it's probably this fall. But it's not a fall feast thing. Satan's going to come down here. He's the trigger. Now, it's possible that we don't have everything completely right on the timeline. If it doesn't hit this year, I'm just looking at the world. I'm not even looking at the Bible right now. I'm looking at Jesus' comment about things getting worse. I don't know if you can hear me over these planes, so hang on. These aren't commercial planes. These are business jets flying into this airport because the Atlanta airport is the busiest in the world or close to it. Let's see, what do we got? I'm seeing a lot more everything going on. All my prepping friends are saying, it's coming down to the wire on this stuff. It's coming down to the wire. And if that's the case, you've got to be prepped. You've got to have food stores. And if we're at that stage, then the rapture's got to be very close. And I've told you before, I don't care if you don't think you're going to need it. Stock up and tell somebody, friends or family that are not Christians, that you have stocks so that if you're gone, they can have them. And just load them full of tracts. Hide tracts everywhere. Lift the cushions of the couch and hide tracts. Put tracts in the bottom of all the food boxes. Put them everywhere. Don't let them loose. Don't give them access to that without at least paying the price of reading at least one tract. You could even leave them a recording. Make a tape. Put it in your cassette player for your video. Say, in case of rapture, push here. And they can push it in. You can see, I told you. You've missed out. But there's another one coming soon. So be ready for it. You can leave seeds behind. You don't have to be here. It's not our job to convert anybody. It never has been. That's the Holy Spirit's job. Don't take that away from him. Our job is to help him plant the seeds. That's it. Now, sometimes we got to help nurture him. That's fine. Sometimes we can also help with our verses to direct people. That's fine. But that is over and above. What we're really supposed to do is just to spread the word. That's it. The Spirit has to prepare their heart. If their heart's not ready, you're not going to get through. You're not going to be able to do anything to help them. I've got to get used to this now because I've been looking at my phone for all this time and my camera's in a different spot. And so I'm kind of looking there. And now I'm finding as I'm looking at my video, I'm looking down instead of looking up. The camera's up here on the top now. I haven't had a laptop in a long time. When I had my studio, I had a workstation and I had a camera sitting on top of the monitor. But I've been doing this now for a couple months, 3 months I think it is, without my workstation. So I got to get used to this. So just keep telling me to look at the camera. All right. I think this test is successful. Keep an eye on Damascus. Russia just ordered more troops, more draft members to be brought in. He's sending more planes. He's escalating. Okay. He wants it over. They're fighting back. And he doesn't like that. And we're helping them to fight back. Thank you, Darian. I'm just giving some updates, and I'm testing out my new laptop and my new internet access device from T-Mobile. I switched from Verizon to T-Mobile because Verizon was just not being very nice. And normally I switch every couple of years because whoever you're with stops being nice because they figure they've got you hooked. But when they made it, you can take your phone number with you when you go back and forth. I usually wait till the contract's up. And if I don't get a special sweetheart deal, I'll go to the other company, the competitor, and tell them I didn't get a sweetheart deal. What have you got for me? I'll move right now. That's why I've been doing this. But T-Mobile has been ahead of everybody lately. So I like what they're doing. I got this because I'm still not ready to spend the money on the Starlink. Between this and the WeBoost, the WeBoost boosts the signal so that there'd be enough signal there. And I got another plane coming over. It's a type of Learjet type. I don't know what brand. But I did a fundraiser and I got the WeBoost, and then this just came out. So I got this. Actually, the hardware is for free. It costs $50 a month for internet. And as long as you've got a cell signal, then you can connect. It will connect at whatever grade. It will go to LTE and connect. 5G is the best if you can do it. But some of my state parks don't have that. They have LTE. Um, I'm going to see if my WeBoost will boost it to the 5G level and make this thing think that it's really working at full 5G. Because I'm not sure if the WeBoost works both ways. I haven't researched that. I know that it helps me to do my uploads in snail mail. If I use my phone, I can do uploads with the WeBoost, and it's cut the time down. It used to take 12, 14 hours, and I can upload a full video now in maybe 6 to 8 hours without anything else. Well, now with this new internet here, I'm uploading full speed. You're watching me stream this in good quality. I tried streaming from my phone and the quality was bad. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to continue to do this as long as we can. We've got the Fall Feast. Feast of Trumpets are next month. And we're looking at, is that going to be the last Trump? I've always thought that the last Trump could have been the last president. I'm not going to draw any lines and connections to make there. You can figure that out on your own. But we don't know. It just says at the last Trump. Does that mean that, it's on a fall feast that has trumpets? I don't know. We really don't know. And I don't know why Satan would pick that. If he was going to pick any time to do it, he would do it at the Day of Atonement. Thank you much, Darian. We've got a chat contributor. Yeah, it's Isaiah 17. We are going to see it during the time. It hasn't been destroyed yet. So sometime between now and the end, it will be. Is that what's happening now? I don't think Russia will come straight into Israel. Now, if they're going to come in and set up their hardware and their bases in Syria and then come in, I don't think they're just going to start from the Ukraine and say, okay, we're done here. Let's go get Israel. They're probably going to go into Syria. And at that point, they're probably going to get the proxies to help out too. Start launching missiles. Everybody's going to go to war. It's going to be essentially a Middle East World War III. But are we going to be involved? I don't know. Are we going to be involved in a war with China, North Korea? Take your pick. Maybe we're going to become so far left and socialist that we're going to blend in with everybody and they're going to welcome us with open arms and not attack us. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, that is our job now. I'm not a watchman per se. There are lots of those out there that have their name on that. I'm not the John the Baptist, but I am a type of John the Baptist. Repent, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. We don't know when we're going to be ready. The bride was told to be ready for the groom to come at any time. Now, for me, I'm thinking that it's going to be in the middle of the daylight. And I'm in the United States, and you say, well, why would it be that way? When this switches, we're switching to Jewish time. And they're 8 hours ahead of us. So I'm 4:30? So they're 12:30 there now. If you go look at the Wailing Wall, that's one of the things I have on my browsers. I can pull up the Wailing Wall, and it's right in the middle of the Jewish quarter there. And you can see they keep it's lit 24/7, and there's sometimes people there in the middle of the night. That gives me a shot of Jerusalem. There's some other webcams over there, but I like that one the best because the more activity there, the more things that they're doing. And it's amazing that they've still got that part of it left. But that is not the holiest place to the Jews. It's not. That is a retaining wall around the Temple Mount. It is not the temple. It is none of the buildings that are on the temple. It is simply because the mountain that it's built on is like this. You want to be able to put all these buildings up, you got to flatten it. So you bring up the sides and you build retaining walls all the way around. And that's what they've done. As for the rest of the city, it's been destroyed, picked up, rebuilt, destroyed, picked up, rebuilt so many times that just to get down to the level that you want, you might have to go through, 10 other time periods that you want to capture all the information. So it takes a long time. You can actually walk pretty much the way Jesus did, even to the point where the road's actually below. You can go down below and walk where he did, the Via Dolorosa, which is some of it's up above, some of it's down below. And a lot of the streets are down below because it's been piled up on top. When God comes in to hand out punishment, he knocks the temple down to the ground. And they didn't have to knock it to the ground. They knocked it to the ground because something went wrong. What went wrong is it caught on fire. It wasn't supposed to catch on fire. Now, maybe the Jews lit it on fire as they were running out. They killed, a few million Jews that day. But it caught on fire, and all the gold that was in there and the tapestry and everything melted down into the base. So they had to tear it down to get all the gold out. Now, the ark was not in there because they haven't seen the ark for some time. The last we know about the ark is it was in the general Jerusalem area, but we don't know where it is. They haven't seen it. Now, it's a duplicate of what's in heaven, because John saw the ark in heaven in his Revelation vision. He also saw Jesus. He's the only one on earth that has seen Jesus. Okay, in his new body. We're going to see him too. A lot of it's figurative language, so we're going to have to go off of the first vision that he saw. But it's going to be an amazing place. But we've got to be here still, 3 or 7 years, whatever's left, and 1,000 years on top of that. So we're not going right away. We're going to be down here for a while. I don't know what's left. Large. Into Ukraine, yes. That's because Ukraine is fighting back. If Ukraine would just give in, most of the eastern side of Ukraine are Russians anyway. The part that stayed separate and didn't want to be back in the Soviet Union is to the west. If they would just go ahead and break off that eastern side, the war would be over. The Revelation 12 sign happened September 23rd, 2015. So we're looking at 2017. So we're looking at 5 years right now. You're right, 2017. We're looking at 5 years, which means that if God wants to do things in sevens, we might have 2 more years. But again, this is not God's time frame. This is Satan's time frame. Satan's coming after the child, us. And then he's going to turn on Israel. That's on his time frame. Whenever he wants to do that, he knows as soon as he starts that, there's no turning back. After the Revelation 12 sign, after him casting his angels down, the next thing that happens is he gets cast out of heaven. That's the last straw. So he's not ready to pull that trigger until everything is ready down here. I'm saying nobody knows. And I'm not quoting the verse that says nobody knows the day or the hour. That's the second coming. Literally, nobody knows because it doesn't say when the rapture is. Paul was looking for the rapture. The Thessalonians thought they missed the rapture. So it's been imminent since the time of Paul. So it could be any time, but we don't know. If we look at the way the world is heading, there's not a whole lot of time left before it really gets bad and they start martyring Christians. We're not here for that. The rapture will get us out of here. The first one will get us out of here before they start martyring Christians. They're already trying to do things Yeah. I jokingly, and I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I like to tease Satan because we know who wins. We've read the end, and he does too, but he thinks he's better. I associate him with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. If you remember those cartoons, the coyote never won. Well, I think he won one time. He gets a hold of him, and he goes, "Okay, this is after years of it being on TV." He goes, "Okay, now what do I do?" You know, but basically, he tries everything, and nothing works, and he won't quit. That's Satan. He won't quit. And I did the Rapture cartoon a week or so ago. I hope we don't have two more of these either, but we've got to. I am one that likes to plan, so don't take anything that I say as saying I know when things are going to happen. I believe personally, if I had to bet money on it, I would believe the rapture would be this year. Not necessarily on a fall festival, but maybe around it. Because Israel is going to be busy and they often get attacked during their Jewish holidays because the enemy likes to disrupt those. So my guess is this fall. But if by chance it's not, that's why I'm telling you to prep. I mean, if it's next month, or even the month after that, you only have to have 2 months worth of food stores. Most people have that anyway. I wouldn't even mention prepping. We just eat the food we got left until it's gone and we'd be okay. But we might have to go into next year. If that's the case, this country is going to be in really bad shape. They're that close to destroying our dollar. That's why they're giving this money away. I said that in my morning video. They're giving the money away like it's monopoly money, because it will be soon. They're going to take the value of it down to zero. They're going to come off the dollar. Countries are already doing that. China's already doing that. Russia's doing that. Many countries are already coming off of the dollar as their standard. And we've got an executive order 14067, I think it is, where Biden wants to implement digital currency in December this year. We have an election this year. They are not going to give up control. I don't care if they have to kill every human being on the face of the earth. That's how evil these people are that are running this great reset. They will kill everybody. Now, we know they're not, but that's their mentality. They don't care. They don't care how many people die because we are overpopulated according to the, I'm going to do this right this time, the 30-20 reverse those agenda says that they need to reduce the population to like 500 million, something like that. That's a lot of people dying. Okay. Now, we see the seals kill some, we see the trumpets kill some, and the bulls kill some. So we're going to have plenty of end time events doing that, but they're going to also be involved. There's going to be a lot of war around the world. Not rumors of war, but war. We're getting lots of rumors of war, but we haven't seen the wars yet. And those are going to begin to increase. The United States is not mentioned in the end times. Yeah, if they can get everybody on digital, that's exactly what the Antichrist and Satan wants, because there's your mark. You can't buy or sell. And they're already dictating some of that to businesses with dollars right now. You take this money from us, you've got to accept this new thinking. If you decide you don't want to do this new thinking, you can't have the money. We're about ready to sign another agreement, theoretically, with Iran. Israel's begging the United States. They sent somebody here deliberately to talk to Biden. Don't take this. You know, I love watching these old cartoons, so I can picture Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam. You know, and he goes, Bugs Bunny will say, "I dare you to step across this line." I'm not going to try to do his accent because I can't do it. I might be able to do Yosemite Sam, but I can't do Bugs Bunny. In any case, he said, "I dare you to step across this line." And Yosemite Sam being macho, has to step across the line. Well, on the other side of the line is a big drop off and he falls to the ground. They keep doing that to us, and we keep moving the line. If we just keep, there's a red line, don't cross that. They step across it. Well, then don't cross this one, and they step across it. We're playing a game. Now, we're going to give them $100 billion a year, and we're not giving them money. We're going to remove the sanctions that are costing them $100 billion a year. That frees up their banks to then do money laundering. So any other country that has a sanction against it, Iran can then be the money launderer for that country. We're giving them on a silver platter everything that they want. And they want Israel destroyed. Right now, if I were Israel, I would think very seriously about telling the United States that if you sign this agreement as it is, you are now our enemy. We're pulling all of our people out of the United States, our embassies, we're pulling everything out. You're an enemy of Israel. And I'm just going to turn this over to God and let him deal with you. Because he will. We've already done enough stuff as we already deserve to be destroyed for the things that we've done. Millions of babies died. We deserve punishment for that alone. But if we turn our backs completely on Israel, that would be the last straw. God would then hit us with everything. So we're in trouble here too. Even if we're not going to be in the wars going on over there, we've got a lot of wrath coming at us. All right. This is all working really good, and got 30 people watching. That's pretty good for an early afternoon. It's 4:43 here right now. Well, if this works at my next campsite, I'm moving campsites tomorrow. And I always try to give you a heads up when I'm doing that, because sometimes I can't do things like I'd like to do on a moving day, because I have to break down here, check out, and then go to the next place and check in. And it depends on who's behind the counter. Here, they wouldn't let me check in at 1. And because I was complaining that they wouldn't let me check into 1, the guy goes, I got to go to the bathroom, I'll be back. And he comes back 15 minutes after 1. Then he lets me check in. This is an evil place. They wouldn't even give me my senior discounts, and all state parks in Georgia offer the senior discount. I had to argue with that. So this is Sweetwater Creek, just west of Atlanta. Don't camp here. Stay away from this place. It's noisy. I've got cars behind me on this big road. There's only 5. They're tent campsites, but they have water and electricity. But I do not recommend this site at all. I'm going back to Chattahoochee Bend. The reason I like it there is it's teeming with wildlife. There's 100 or more deer in the park itself. I don't go a day without seeing deer when I'm out. I've got squirrels all around me. I've seen one a day, and it's probably the same squirrel. Now, they tell me there's deer here, but there's not that many. There's so many because it's so close to town. People come out here on the weekend just to party. The restrooms aren't clean the way they should be. That's not the park's fault, that's the host's fault. But they're supposed to follow behind and check them up. I've been to all the other parks, and they're all cleaner than this park. It's probably because this is so close to the town that they don't take care of anything. Well, I haven't run into anybody that I would be afraid of. I've run into people that are just plain rude, play loud music. If they play loud music past 10 o'clock and it's really loud, the camp host will come by, and he's got the authority to evict them immediately, but he doesn't have the authority to have them arrested. He'd have to call a ranger, and they'd come in and they would escort them off the property, and they'd never allow them back. So if you're really bad, they take you out of the camp. Of course, that's disruptive for the night that you're dealing with it. What's annoying is the barking dogs. People bring their dogs out who've never been out camping before, Or watch Caesar Milan and his dog Whisper. There are people that don't know how to handle animals at all, and they just let the dogs bark. They're like people that have kids. After a while, parents become tone deaf to anything other than a "I'm in trouble" scream. You learn to tell the difference between a screaming kid and a "I'm in trouble" scream, and you tone everything else out. But everybody else hasn't done that. I haven't had screaming kids in such a long time. I deal with it very simply. I put earplugs in, I put my noise canceling headphones on, and I'm toned out. And I don't have to even have anything on, but a lot of times I will play music. I can get some of the, I like to listen to sometimes, depending on what time it is. If it's early, I'll listen to like Christian rock bands because I don't want to be going to sleep immediately. But then I'll put on quiet music, and you can find, you know, oceans. I don't need wilderness sounds, but I like the ocean. Rain maybe, but I've been having so much rain lately. The rain's been coming down and hitting my top of my tent. I can hardly hear my music. So I don't have any problems with any animals. Um, since I've been camping this year, I've seen like 5 snakes. Only one was poisonous, and that was a coppermouth. And I ran over it on the road. So I didn't walk up on it, but he was there somewhere in the trees. And there was, okay, there was a creek nearby. He probably come up out of the creek. They like to stay near the water to cool themselves out when it's hot, and then they get out in the sun when it's cooler. They got to help regulate their body temperature that way. They don't sweat. We do, but they don't. So if we see one of them, we start sweating, but they don't. They're cool. All right. So moving tomorrow, I'm going to be in my campsite for a week, and then I got to move to another site within there. Yes, if you want to fish, every place has its own types of fish. There's a nice big lake here that you can fish out of. The guy said that I was camped next to yesterday that last year he caught, one day he caught like 10 catfish. But there's also bass and perch and some other fish in there. It's a big lake. And I'm sure they stock it, but it's such a big lake that there's probably enough. I see a lot of little fish along the edges, so they don't have to fully stock it, but they probably stock things that they fish out a lot of. Over at Chattahoochee Bend, there's a river. The problem with the river is it depends on the weather. We've had all this rain lately, and the river's up, and it's muddy. So you cast a lure out there, they can't see it. So you really got to almost use live bait. And sometimes if you want to fish near the shores, maybe you can kind of drop them in. But I don't fish anymore. I used to. This year, because I think things are going to get bad with our GOV, that I'm actually kind of dropping off. I've let so many of my things lapse. I've let my carry permit lapse. I don't want to be on a database. Now I'm in there, but I'm not active. I've let my fishing license lapse, my hunting license. Everything is lapsing so that I don't have an active participation in these things. When they start pulling them up, I don't want them to find me. Now, if they decide they want to look at state parks, they're going to find me all over the place because that's all I'm doing. If I need to, I'll start. I want to change states. I'm hoping to be able to go out west. I mentioned this to a couple of people, but every time I try to go out west, God blocks me. Whatever happens, somebody gets sick, my car breaks down, whatever. As soon as I'm getting ready to leave, I get blocked. God doesn't want me to go. I get the message, God, I'm going to stop trying until you tell me I can go. My guess is I have my son and my ex here. And my son I worry about because he has Asperger's, so he needs someone to kind of keep an eye on him. And my ex is not going to be a good one for that. That's probably the reason we're divorced, because we got into how to take care of him. Just had a tree limb come down over there. But anyhow, I think I got to stay here for them. And the fact that I wanted to go out west, he's saying, no, I need you to stay here because it's going to get tough. And you know the area. And I do. I know most of Georgia. I've camped at pretty much every state park here. And because of that, I'm very familiar with how to survive here. If I went out west, I wouldn't know. Now, I could boondock out there, but frankly, I'm living in luxury here. I'm in a tent, but I have water and electricity. And I've got restrooms. Now, I don't have laundry service at this one, but all the other parks have laundry service. So I have everything I need. And I can get out and walk around and enjoy nature. So I think he wants me to stay here because things are getting ready to hit the fan. I won't use the other word that goes with that, but you know what I mean. It's getting ready to break this fall. So if we're not being raptured, things are going to get tough anyway. Now, I think the rapture is going to be obviously tied to what's going on in the Middle East. Well, you have to ask God. You have to ask him to talk to you. I spend a lot of quiet time with him, morning and evening, and then I pray throughout the day. But I always tell him, look, God, this is what I want to do. I'm going to plan on doing this because I can't understand whether you're telling me to go or not go. So I'm just going to plan on it. If you don't want me to go, block me. That's how I work it with God. And it works very well. Things I'm supposed to do, the doors just open wide open and I just walk right through. Things I'm not supposed to do, the doors close. So that's my way of working with God. You may have to find your own way, but it works really good for me to do that, to test him. Do we have the ability to put down give me a golden fleece? Look that story up if you want. But basically, give me something that I can, bite my teeth into and know that you want me or don't want me to do that. And it works. It works for me perfectly. When we came here to Georgia, okay, as long as I'm online, I don't have to worry about time limits. When we moved to Georgia, we looked around, couldn't find any place out west where I could find work. They just got the F-22 project here at Lockheed. I was on a Lockheed subcontract. So I go, look, we just go to Georgia. I don't know anybody there yet. I've sent them my resume. I haven't heard. We're just going to move. So we did. We packed up, moved the two young kids, 2 and 4 or 3 and 5, I don't remember. They were getting ready to go into school. They hadn't gone into California school yet. That's why we were leaving. So we came here in a U-Haul van, and I was towing one car, and my wife at the time drove the other car. It took us 3.5 days to get here. We knew one couple in Georgia. They were on the west side of Atlanta, so that's where we shot for first. We put our stuff in storage, turned the truck in. We stayed at a motel for a little bit, but having 2 kids in a motel is not fun. So that's why we went out and we did our first camping here. And I've been at the same campsite just north of here, Red Top Mountain. But while we were doing this, I was trying to get work at Lockheed, and I couldn't seem to get in. I just couldn't seem to get in. And we go, okay, well, look, we've been here for a little while. Let's contact this couple that we met out in California at the church we were going to out there. And they invited us, we called them and they invited us to come to their church on Sunday. We did, tell them our story. They go, well, we have somebody here in our congregation that works at Lockheed. Let me introduce you. So I talked to him for a little bit. I told him I left my resume. On Monday, he calls me and says, I can't find your resume anywhere. I don't know what happened to it. If you can hand carry me one, I will walk it through. So I did. I drove down there, hand carried it to him, and he got me the job that Monday. We camped for like 2 weeks. But that was our vacation because we just finished 6 years on a major project. And so we were doing vacation. After that, as soon as things started falling into place, boom, I was working that Monday. God will set things up. You don't even have to know whether they're set up or not. If you know to go, everything will drop into place for you. Yes. But without faith, there's no pleasing God. And trust and faith, that's what it's all about. And knowing that even if you make a mistake, if you are doing it because you truly believe that's what God wants you to do, he will then save you from yourself if need be. He will make lemonade out of lemons if he needs to. If you're really doing it. Paul and all of his killing Christians, standing there watching the first Stephen killed, he stood there and watched it. Someone with that much intent to kill Christians, but God knew that his heart was right. He was doing it for what he believed to be right. God catches him on the road to Damascus, blinds him. Want to make sure I get your attention. And he heard him talking to him. Why are you persecuting me? Okay. He knew that his heart was in the right place, but it was misguided. So he just channeled it to where it needed to be. And he was just as zealot for the Christians as he was when he was killing them before that. That's why his name was changed to Paul. Paul for the Gentiles, Saul for the Jews. He was still Jewish. But if we do something for what we think to be the right motive, God will save us from it. I think the way to answer that would be to say, everybody can change. It says that God came to or give us Jesus to save the world, not to save those who he knows has already handpicked. The invitation is to the whole world. The problem that the world has, the world is very enticing. If you don't know or believe in Jesus, the world is very enticing, and Satan is a good salesman. He will lie to you and promise you everything. The only two people that are worse are used car salesmen and politicians. But he's in charge of the world. He's a ruler of this world. Adam and Eve put him in charge of this. And if you think that this is it, that there's nothing else out there in the universe, then you're going to make the best of what you can here. That's what the world does. Now, we're just passing through. This is not our home. We're on the way to heaven. I mean, I frankly would have flown right over this place had I known that I could have gone straight to heaven. Forgot to turn my phone off. That's all right. Sales call. Anyhow, we got to reach out to everybody. And there will be, when we're raptured, everybody's going to be a Christian. But there will be Jewish Christians. Christian simply means a follower of Christ, which means a follower of the Messiah, because Christ and Messiah are the same, Greek and Hebrew. So you can be a Jew and be a Christian because you're a follower of Christ or of the Messiah. And we're going to have the 144,000 Jewish evangelists for Christ. They're probably out there right now studying. Yes. Come at the right time. The only way I can answer that when people say they want Jesus to come right now is like the Lord's Prayer, your will here on earth as it is in heaven, because we don't know the timing that is needed for this stuff to work. We don't know how many people, how many souls haven't been saved yet. That's out of our pay grade. So God, come at the earliest possible time is the way I word it. And then I just wait. I don't know when the time is. Nobody does. We can all guess. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Sooner than later, that's for sure. If you look at the full timeline, from the time that Jesus was here until now, we're 2,000 years. I don't believe in the full 7-year tribulation, by the way. I've said that before. but we don't know when it started either, because it doesn't tell us. The only date that we've got is the abomination of desolation, and that's the midway point. After that, we don't know. Are they going to build a full temple? He measured a full temple, but they could throw a tabernacle up and be worshiping in it the next day while they build the temple. The abomination could be in the tabernacle long before the temple is built. They have the ability to put a temple up in probably 3 to 4 months. The question is where are they going to put it? I think the Antichrist is going to help negotiate a dual use of that Temple Mount. The Dome of the Rock shouldn't be there. We all know that. The Muslims know that. They put it there deliberately to prevent them from building the temple. Who's ready to start World War III? That's the problem. And the Muslims believe that if they start World War III, they believe in Jesus. They just don't believe he's the Son of God. They believe he went straight to heaven, and that when World War III starts, he's going to come back and help them win. That's what they believe. That's why they are martyrs all over the place, because they believe they're going to, whatever they're doing, they're going to do it for their religious group to help them win. So there's really no way you can beat somebody like that. That's a possibility. We have this month, but again, we don't, if we're still under the Gentile times, why are we looking at Jewish events? The only way that we'd be looking at Jewish events is if we switch from the church Gentile age back to the 70th week. We have to do that switch. Otherwise, as Gentiles, we're not obliged to keep any Jewish holiday. And we may. And I grew up in a temple until I told them I was a Christian, and they asked me to leave. So I've got my roots in that, so I understand what's going on there. But we're in the church age or the Gentile age. We don't have to follow any of these. Now, the Revelation 12 sign that happened 5 years ago is Jewish. So it's pointing to the coming Jewish time frame again. We know it's coming. The tribulation time frame, whether it's the full 7 years or a shortened version of it, is coming. At which point, everything will, the fall feasts have not been fulfilled yet. The spring feasts have. So that has to happen during this next few years. But we've only got, at most, just a few years. And we're not going to be here for most of it. I'm not sure how you say your name. Lolly, I don't know. But hello, and thank you. I just decided to do this live broadcast today to test out my hardware for those of you that have joined in since I went through all this. I've got my new laptop, which we had a fundraiser for, and some great people contributed to that. I don't mention names because I don't want anybody getting any reward on earth. If you're going to help me, your rewards are going to go to heaven, where they belong. We're going to get to the Bema seat. But I got my laptop. I've got my new digital device that allows me to get unlimited internet over a cell signal. In the past, it's always been a hotspot, and that hotspot had limited upload and download capabilities. I can get unlimited with this under 5G. So we're testing this all out. I haven't seen any problems. You haven't seen any problems because nobody's reporting any. I got Fighting for the Gospel Ministry in the beginning, told me that everything looked and sounded good. So you've probably heard enough from me. You already saw my video this morning. I haven't checked to see if my other video has passed their, I got to find out if my other videos passed their test. I got to really be careful. Do you know that And again, I got to watch what I say. This new money that was just allocated. Yes, you can. Yes, thank you very much. Again, Lolly, I don't know if I got your name right or not, but thank you very much. Um, Guadalajara, Mexico. I've been there one time. Our ship took a cruise down that way. Every little bit helps. We're reminded of the woman who basically put in a few coins, maybe a few cents worth, and Jesus said, out of everybody in here, she's donated the most. So it's what's behind the heart and what you can donate. That's great. Thank you very much. I do have a Patreon account, and I do fundraisers occasionally, but I'm going to start doing more live videos because I can now. Now, whether it's going to work at the next website, maybe at the next campsite, I have to test that, and I'm going to test that tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I need to find out if my other video made it. Oh, that's where I was going to go. Was it YouTube or Facebook? I know Facebook's really bad, but it might have been YouTube. They were starting to talk about the money that's is going to be distributed for, can I say these things? Going to school. I guess that's all. I'm just going to leave it at that and hope you can figure out what I mean. He's going to pay off everybody's debt. And I think they came out with 300 billion, but it's really probably close to 1,000,000,000,000. I'm hoping these things are just going to blow by this filter and that you can figure out what I'm saying. The bottom line is the GOP started attacking that online, and I think it was YouTube started blocking them. They said, you can't post that stuff. They're going to start cracking down because they can. Yeah, I mean, we are the salt of the world. Satan is the honey. He's going to attract flies. We're going to add seasoning and help preserve things. So you're going to look at it from that point of view. We're the salt of the world. We're not the sweetener. Satan does the sweetening. And people buy into that. Okay, so I got to watch what I say here. I got to see if my video made it. If it didn't make it for some reason, then I got to go back and edit it. Yeah, somebody thinks I should do counseling. If God wants me to do whatever he wants me to do, he will give me the ability to do it. Yes. Better call, I got a siren going by. This is the noisiest campground I've ever been in. Jewish Samaritan, you need to call Jimmy Buffett and tell him you found it. Hopefully you understand that comparison. I don't know if my video made it, so I got to go do that to see if it's going to get... Yeah, a lot of people, especially in California, have started going into Mexico. When I lived in Southern California, I used to travel down to Baja all the time. I'd go down there and go fishing and diving and everything. My dad, every year, because he lived in Reno, Nevada, which is up in the mountains on the California-Nevada border, they'd get a lot of snow. He didn't like the cold. He and all of his friends would rent houses down on the mainland side of Baja, Hermosillo, somewhere like that. And so, yeah, I used to be able to speak Spanish, but right now I can probably say, you know, dos cervezas, por favor, and I don't drink. And of course, if you say that, then you got to say, ¿Dónde están los baños? Where's the bathroom? I know I can say a few more words, but I really couldn't carry on a conversation very well. Homeless? Well, I am technically homeless. I have a house that I can go stay at, but I don't want to. So I'm technically homeless because I'm living in a tent. I'm showing you that you can do it. And I've been doing this for months now. And I'm doing this for recreational purposes. I have to make sure that I say that because I do have a home. I'm not homeless. I just don't live there. It's my son's home, and I don't like his roommates anyway. But in any case, uh, I do this full time to show you that you can, because I think we're going to be this way here. I understand it in Mexico and other places because of the economy and everything. But we've always been very lucky here in the United States up until Mystery Babylon has started taking over. I don't know if that's on my list of things I'm not supposed to say. I'm going to have to go out and check this. So that's the thing. If they flag it, but they allow my video through, I don't know what flagged it. I could have said something that sounded like something that the filter caught. Like I could say we are biding our time, which means that we're just kind of waiting. And I wasn't talking about our fearless leader, but the filter doesn't know that. Now, they may get eventually smart enough for that, but they're not there yet. Yes. All right. I'm rambling at this point in time, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm very happy with the results of this. That means that I can come to you live anytime I need to if there's a major problem. I think initially we're going to have internet because it's their propaganda engine. But if we start to rebel, they'll take it away because this allows us to communicate. Now, maybe they might spy on us so they know what we're doing, but I think initially they're going to keep this. But eventually they will probably take my site and other sites down. I'm trying to do stuff on Telegram as well, and I'm hopefully with this new internet, I can post to both sites. I've had trouble posting to both because it's taken me all day to post to one. But Telegram, it should be in the descriptions of my videos. You can find my Telegram account and my Patreon account. So check them out. I'm currently not running a fundraiser. We're using the results of the last fundraiser very happily. Okay, God bless everyone. I hope to see you in the clouds soon. I'll have to come up with another cartoon. I need a Roadrunner cartoon. I've talked about it, but I don't have one. The Snoopy one I did do. Thank you, Mr. Armor.